So is there a place where the sidewalk ends? Or a place where design begins? And there is where green pyramids take flight. And there the canvas is never just white. And there the people climb crystal clouds so bright, who also like to eat pastry delights. Let us leave a place where imagination turns black, and ideas live in a box that can never be bent. Past the illusion of never being able to grow, we shall imagine a world we would be proud to show, and observe where the shapes and lines will go, to a place where the sidewalk will never end. Yes, we'll show them how trees and leaves are better to grow, and we'll go where the lines and arrows will grow. For the plan is to go and never to know where the sidewalk ends. As designers, people often ask us, what do designers do? Can we define what we do? Well, let's try.
Where we do the work we do is a dynamic collection of places. We want to know what's inside, what's below, what was there before, and imagine what may come tomorrow. We don't just design the outdoors, we design the places in between, where people, city, and nature intersect. These places happen everywhere. Think of the steel bridge. You got the river, cars, trains, the max, bikes and pedestrians, all right there. On the city spine, a vortex of connection. Other places include city squares, rooftops, civic buildings, campuses, urban parks, and waterfronts. We investigate the stories behind these places, their physical and thematic boundaries, and then we draw outside the lines. As we overlay this information, we look for patterns and make connections. This approach frames what we see, even though we may not become experts on every aspect, but we will embrace the journey and track the patterns that emerge. Now, why do we do it? In architecture, the classic Vitruvian principles define utility, firmness, and delight. These values complement each other, assuring stable structures with purpose and meaning. What can we say about landscape architecture? Let's focus on the people that will use and be affected by a design, by understanding their needs and backgrounds. Let's connect our designs with their place, specific site conditions, and physical qualities. Let's draw beauty from natural and urban backdrops, their character and identity. But all of this aside, why do we do it? It comes down to the fact that it's fun, and it's important. This wonderful sidewalk we work in has it all. Buildings and trees, lights and pipes, children and songs, bikes and cars, protests and parties, parking and barking. It's all happening there. Why wouldn't we want to be there?
What do you see when you look at the world? By looking at a place through the lens of a child, we can see past our current realities and examine what's missing. Our landscape, with its vast exchange through time, place, built in natural systems, is a great source of creative inspiration. We are visual thinkers, and in order to transform our designs into realities, we like to tinker, doodle, model, and sketch. When we actively engage with the creative process, new connections between scales, perspectives, and materials can inform the overall design. The design process is non-linear. Although at times it may seem like a never-ending spiral, the trick is to remember that each iteration is a step forward, or alternatively, just look like you know what you're doing, like this guy up here, and eventually it will all become clear. Design is seldom a one-man show. Rather, we surround ourselves with people who have a broad range of experiences. This collaboration allows us to draw from the expertise of various disciplines. Oftentimes, we take away just as much as we bring to the table. Who we are, our roles and knowledge is ever expanding. When we allow people to be themselves, working together can be fun. Everyone brings something of value to the table. For example, Charlie up here is our in-house Mexican wrestler, and as long as you agree with him, he won't challenge you to a wrestling match. Sometimes our roles need to be more defined. For efficiency, better management, and the division of labor, this organizational hierarchy is necessary to get the job done. Each project will have its own structure that helps define how the team moves forward. In this process, we all wear different hats.
Yet, More often than not, simple boundaries like this are the exception to the rule in our profession. A complex part of landscape architecture is visioning the results which have no clear beginnings or ends. Unlike many buildings that shine brightest on day one, landscapes mature and evolve, always changing throughout the years and the seasons. Also, the element of when is a major design factor if a site's history is a desired influence. For example, at a local park, the historic wetlands formerly at the site were a driving influence in the design, which featured an interpretation of the wetlands juxtaposed with modern elements. We may also look at the historical context. Is it the right design move to maintain the status quo and work within the current trends and traditions, or move ahead toward new grounds? If the latter, will we be breaking the mold or making a natural progression off of past ideas? All in all, landscape architecture is not an easily defined profession, and that's just the way that we like it. It allows us to be unconfined by boundaries, be those roles and rules or even the sidewalk. This permits us many opportunities to blur the lines along the way. In the end, this flexibility allows us to create things that may not be easily categorized, but are fun and exciting all the same. This is the reason why we are in a profession that always gives us pause when someone asks, "Hey, do you mind shrubbing up my backyard a little bit?" The answer is, not a chance.
I'll do it.